All right. So the first item on the agenda was to discuss previous minutes and updates. Dom, do you have an update on this, or is there a reason why we have this specifically on this?
Normally all the other meetings that have it, they go through the minutes and minutes and notes or whatnot that's available. If you've read them and you agree with what's on there, we just go on to the next subject. It's pretty much just repeating what we've done in the last meeting.
Yeah. Okay. That looks good.
Okay. Going back up.
All right. So the second item on the agenda is for a time for owner comments. So it looks like we have a couple of guests here present. So if we could just, I guess, one at a time, go around and quickly introduce yourself.
Ken Pasola, 311 Acadia Lane, and obviously in celebration, joined this group to specifically listen to and participate in the discussion on the email situation.
Okay, Ken, thank you for joining.
As I mentioned earlier, this is Johnny Newsom, 610 Teal Avenue. Interest again is the email.
Okay, thank you. Who's next?
Well, I'll jump in. My name is Dan Tomsick. I live at 961 Starling Drive in Celebration, and I too am interested in the topic of celebration.fl.us email.
Okay, thank you. Elizabeth?
Yep, Elizabeth McCollum, 412 Arbor Circle, here for the same topic, interested in listening what's going on and commenting.
All right.
Floyd McCollum, I'm here as well. And two things. One, Bill Lucy is in the waiting room, said he has not been let in yet. And two, I wanted to know or understand for all those that are here for the email, why we were not notified by CROA as we all requested about this meeting.
Okay.
All right, I guess I'll go next. I'm Sean Owens, 1160 Wild in Artisan, here focused on the security technology aspects of it.
Okay, thank you, Sean. William?
Hi, my name is William Lucy. I was a resident for about 25 years. Just actually left the town a couple of years ago. Very interested to hear what's going on with the emails. This is the only email I've ever had, actually. So excited to keep it. It's a big part of our memory.
All right. Seems like the email is a popular topic. Is there anybody else? Paul?
Just so I don't get into trouble later, my wife is also participating.
Is that Ken?
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Ken.
All right, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, Avilia, you got your hand raised, so I guess you have something to say? See chat. Okay, your mic is not working. You can hear though. Okay. All right. Thank you, Avilia. All right. So we've never had this many guests before. So I guess the email was mentioned as a popular topic. So I guess whoever is attending and that is a primary interest, if you could go ahead and just make some brief comments. If we can go one at a time, please, and try to keep it brief.
Again, it's Johnny Newsom. I can get started, get the conversation going, I suppose. We were in the original lottery. We've lived at 610 Teal Avenue for 29 years. This coming December. We've had the celebration.fl.us email address for that entire time. I'm still using it, and I want to continue using it. And my wife as well, until there was some transfer problem with hers, and I'd like to get that restored. It's pretty simple. I'm not too concerned about who's hosting it, as long as somebody is, and as long as we're paying what is a reasonable market rate for us. And I will tell you that I retired just a few years ago after 21 years as the CIO for the Aviation Authority in Orlando. We provided email service for thousands of people at the airport. So I got a pretty good idea of what's involved with email. It's it's not a rocket science to provide email service. There are costs involved. If you are using it, if Grand Manor and the CROA is using that domain, the resident should expect to pay some incremental cost, but it should again be reasonable. If you want to outsource it as it was once before, and then taken back, even though we didn't know it was, if you want to outsource it, that's fine, but it still should be maintained and in the range of marketplace. I just took a look a little bit ago. Email hosting is generally, it runs anywhere from $2 a month to maybe $8 a month at the extreme, depending on what kind of services are provided. So we're really not talking about a lot of money here, but the main point for us is we want to continue to have that email address. That's it.
Sure. Thank you, Johnny. And I think just so you're all aware, I don't think that there's been any action to take any action immediately on the email account. So there was the intention to properly reach out to everyone and have an appropriate amount of time to either give people time to transfer or to arrange for some kind of transition. I know one of the things that Dom has mentioned is a primary concern is sort of the hosting it and paying for it. That's one thing. And I know there's also an initiative where I think there's some intentions to possibly reuse the domain. So I'll just mention that, and perhaps when we get into further discussion, Dominic, you can touch on that some more. But I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of the owners make some additional comments, but just kind of keep that in mind. So,
okay.
Hi, this is Floyd McCollum. I just thought I'd get two things questions. One is for Mr. Long. Why were we not notified of this meeting? As everyone that sent an email asked to be and was confirmed by CROA that they would tell us this meeting was going to happen. Every meeting we were asked, and they said we would be notified. Why did that not happen? Why are you even discussing this? Why is it on the agenda? Mr. Long, you're on CROA. I'm asking you. Can't hear you. I don't know if you're muted or something's on our end.
I am sitting here thinking of a good answer. The reality is this has been a move that's been made, was not communicated with enough notice to the community. We do need to figure out a solution as a community how to move forward with this. If we want to keep going with owner comments and then let Dom from Grand Manor speak, we can do that. Or we can tell you of a possible solution. It may not satisfy everybody, but if everybody's here to talk about email, maybe we could talk about what that solution is that we're proposing and see if it's acceptable.
Well, Mr. Long, that's my question. So we asked to be part of these meetings and we were not invited. We were told about it. We were told we would be. I just want to understand why you did not go to whoever it is within CROA and tell them so we could be notified.
I made a mistake.
Okay. All right. Then the second thing was, have you all read the emails from everybody? I know you've gotten quite a few, at least a dozen email, maybe more. Some were representative of two people, spouses. Have you had a chance to read those emails?
Yes,
This is the
it's
whole. This
pretty
is not
consistent that
Bill, the whole-
everybody wants to keep their email.
But no, I
and
know, but
we hear you.
No, I'm just Bill. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to know that the committee has seen and read those emails.
The emails have come to
No.
the board. The board members have read them.
No, the committee member. Has this
No,
committee?
So this is John. This is John on a committee. Nothing has been shared with us on the committee, discussed
Okay.
or sent to us. So
Okay,
I'm just
so
hearing
I
about
think-
this
I think-
myself.
There's quite a few issues on this. Thank you, John. There's quite a few issues, and if anyone had read this stuff and had it prepared, then you may have put this on the agenda. And it would have made sense to have this discussion. But to have each one of us go around and mention one little tiny piece of something, there are multiple issues with this. And without the board, the tech committee being aware of that, it doesn't even make any sense to be talking about this stuff. I mean, we're willing to listen. I am. I'm sure everyone else is. But once again, I mean, this all started with comments from, I'm sorry, I don't even know your name, the IT person saying that it never caught on, only a few people had it. Completely poor history of the email system, and you were basing things all based on that. Now you have comments back from residents, and you haven't even read those. So I just don't understand why you just keep moving forward without having the information that you need to proceed. Our email was stolen from us, our domain. You took it from us. And then it's like, we should be grateful to have our email. Sorry, that's not how it works here. That's ridiculous. And no one on this committee probably even knows that because they haven't read the emails. So, and we can, happy to discuss it, but we're wasting your committee time and all of our residents' time that we are very passionate about this, as you can tell. And it's just, we're going in circles because you all don't know the history of this and you want to make decisions and make solutions and suggestions based on things that you don't even know.
So thank you,
Mr. McCollum.
Yeah, McCollum.
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. The service that you were originally provided as a Celebration resident was a free, nonprofit Google Apps for Business account. Google a few years ago decided to stop offering that from free, and at some point along the way, there was we're going to hand this over to another company. They're going to do it. They're going to charge you $60 a year. That service at Google is now $8.60 per month per user. I know because I pay for it myself for my own business things. Dom can address the idea behind the domain and using it the way he's proposed. I think a good hybrid solution would be, and I'd actually like Dom to say it. I've talked to him about it, but I'd like Dom to be the one to lay out the plan. And I will be right back. There's somebody at my front.
Before we go on, Mr. Long is incorrect. The service was provided as, this is Elizabeth McCollum, by the way, was provided as an amenity to anybody who was a resident of this town. It wasn't Google. It was celebration.fl.us. It was managed by the management company when we first moved into this town. About 15 years later, yes, it was transitioned to Google and we weren't charged at that time. And then it was transitioned to the third company and we were charged and we're okay with that. So no, it was an amenity of the town, just like basketball, just like the pool, just like, everything else in the town. It was free. It wasn't free. We paid for it with our CROA dues. That's where I would like us to be, that we offer these emails to everybody in town again.
So
but that said,
Elizabeth,
am I willing to pay for it if I have to? Yes.
So Elizabeth, thank you for that. This is John Graham.
It was an amenity.
All right, John, hold on. So this is John Graham. So I'm on the tech committee. I've been on the tech committee for the last 4 years, been chair. I've been living in Celebration for 15 years. And I appreciate everybody's comments. I just want to share a little background. So when I joined the tech committee with Tom 4 or 5 years ago, there's been 3 changes from management companies and email and domains and who owns it, who's admin, costs, licensing. And I'm an engineer with Apple, so I deal with this on a daily basis for work. Has been crazy. been changed left and right all the time. The management companies hand it over from one to another, not sharing a lot of details with us. And each person, when somebody comes, we try, as a tech committee, try to straighten this out and work through it. And as you know, and I'm sorry, Dom's on the call, but grant managers not always, and even before them, it was Jose and Patrick are not always transparent with us 100% on stuff. And we have our 1 monthly call, and we've been fighting a lot of times to get some of those details and information, which is also part of what we're going to talk about in this call, about some transparency about what our mission statement is and what the tech committee is supposed to do, because we represent everybody on this call. And I appreciate everybody's comments here. And I think transparency and knowledge and information and the truth behind all of that is critically important. So I thank you for everybody's comments.
Thank you.
Yes, I thank everyone for their comments so far as well. Again, this was originally intended to just be a discussion that we brought up to the board. I am not aware of, apparently this was discussed at a board workshop. So I apologize if there was some kind of action that was decided during the board workshop. I don't believe that information was passed down to the rest of the committee. I would, I guess, ask for Dominic or Bill, who's on the board, I guess if we could share that information with the committee if there was some kind of decision that was made. Again, I'm not aware that there was, but I could be wrong. So again, I think originally we wanted to just, we knew that this could be a potentially touchy subject and that people would be highly interested in this. And we were not wanting to take any kind of immediate action. So if there was, I apologize. That was not our intent. So I guess, Dom, could you quickly fill us in before we, I guess, what was discussed at the board workshop and what actions you may or may not have taken already?
No actions were taken other than the fact of just getting a list of understanding of who's on there, who's actually using them. And just for me, I'm, granted, everyone, I am pretty much only been here 9 months. So my job and everything I've done and when I've worked in an IT is clean up, understand, learn, minimize, and make things straightforward and easy. And my suggestion was, hey, why do we use this? What's going on with it? And I was just told that it was something that was provided. Not many people are using it. It was meant for all residents. And I said, well, if we're going to provide this for all residents, then we should give it to all residents today. But honestly, the free option, as Bill said, I think it was 2019, 2018, that Google decided to no longer provide free customized domains, and they started charging for them. So that's when they came out with Google Workspace. So with that, my goal was to say, hey, let's save some money. If there's only a few people using it, can we remove it? Committee said, let's find out information. We brought it up to the board. What do they think? And the board said, ask the members who are using it. And the last thing that was done by us, Grand Manners, was to send out an email to understand how it's used, who's using it. Are you using it on a daily basis? Is it, do you want to keep it? How do you want to handle it? Do you want to pay the costs? There were a bunch of options, I believe. It was just informational email, and we were just asking for response back to say, hey, do you guys use it? Yes. How often? Just give us information on how this is being used. And then from that point, I, the tech committee, the board, can then make other options available. That was it. I would love to remove it, but if it's being used, then I will work around it.
Yeah.
Make sure that
So Dom,
it stays.
Dom, I didn't get an email to ask that question. I think if that was the point, that's a fair point. I mean, we've dealt with this before, chargers downtown, everybody's saying nobody uses them. And Tom, we pulled reports, hundreds of people every month were charging. Nobody uses the pools. We pull records, people are using the pools. So I think email is very valid. If people are using the service and provided to it, we need to know instead of making assumptions that nobody's using it. I just want to know, when was that sent out? Because I never got an email on my Celebration email asking about usage of it.
I didn't get one either, John, and neither did Floyd.
Nor did I.
Elizabeth. Yeah.
That
I think we
obviously
can all
applies to all of
say the
us.
same.
I definitely did not get one.
Okay, so I think again there was not any ill will intended in this. This has been a discussion that we were just exploring, just trying to find information to see to assess the impact and who's using it. No decisions have been made to either discontinue or continue it, or how we're just collecting information. So to everybody that got an email or is using the service, thank you for your feedback. I will ask Bill or whoever received the emails regarding the people that are currently using it. I would ask that you give us the committee some time to review those emails, and so that we can kind of collect the feedback.
This is Lauren. Breck, this is Lauren Gunyon.
Yeah.
The feedback that we received, the deadline was last week, the end of last week. I've collected it, and the plan was to pass it to the tech committee at your next month's meeting. So you had time to read the responses and feedback. And then after you guys had a time to digest it and make a final recommendation to the board, then it would go to the board.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think just we're kind of everything happened so quickly. And so I guess you said that the deadline for feedback was last Friday. So again, we haven't had the chance to review that information, and that would have likely been shared today.
Lauren, this is Ken.
Deadline.
Lauren, this is Ken Pasola. We, for one, both my wife and I sent email messages specifically addressed to you and the CROA board, and have received no confirmation that said messages have been received. So if someone is sitting on a stack of these for the residents that are involved in this situation, it would be nice if we sent out some sort of confirmation that, hey, we've received your email and we're taking it under consideration.
Ken, I sent out an email to all the users who sent feedback to us on Monday, I believe, because that was my first day back in the office after being out of the office last week.
Okay, maybe I missed it.
Thank you all for your feedback.
I didn't get one, Lauren. This is Paul McCollum. I did not get one.
Okay.
My
well,
wife didn't get it. My wife didn't get it either, which is more important.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was emailed out to everybody. It was emailed.
I have been getting them, Lauren. Interestingly enough.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been emailing to our general manager and myself, and I have been BCCing you all because I know some of you have privacy concerns, and that's how we've been communicating with those and getting the feedback and the responses to the emails. And Katie Schultman has been the board secretary has been responding to all of the ones that the board was copied on as well.
I did get a notification.
So yes, the intent was to gather the feedback. It was due last week, which was too quick of a turnaround for this committee to be able to review all of those comments because they are a volunteer committee. So we were going to provide them to them this week so they can review them over the next month. This committee reconvenes, I believe, the Tuesday before the next board workshop. So they would have a time to comment on that. And then we could either have that on the workshop agenda or the board agenda coming forward. So no
Lauren,
decisions have been made. We're just trying to.
Well, Lauren, were emails sent out to everybody or just people that emailed the board?
No, people that have an @celebration.fl.us email address.
Oh, no.
Lauren, just for clarification, my wife just pointed out she received an email from you on the 5th of August. And the subject is automatic reply, CROA proposed elimination of residents' original email addresses. And it goes on to say, good day, I'm out of the office and mostly unavailable until the afternoon of Friday, August 8th. If you need assistance in my absence, please contact Town Hall. So we did get that one.
Okay. So,
And I will say, Lauren, listen, Lauren is awesome. Lauren responds to email. The last 4 years we've worked together, Lauren is amazing at it. So I give her all the credit in the world. So there might be some back end miscommunication here and maybe just the overall plan, Lauren, but I think we can work through it as long as we communicate with everybody.
so yes, I will send out one more communication to all of the @celebration.fl.us email holders that we have on our list, providing another, week and a half for feedback, and we'll get that to the technology committee so they have plenty of time to review before their next meeting.
So the town hall, that celebration.
Yesterday.
None was sent out to that one though, right?
No, John, because those are committee and board emails.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep. Okay. Again, it goes back to what I said before. With all these transitions, we have different domains, different emails, different backends, which has led to a lot of the, confusion.
I'm sorry, this is Johnny Neeson again. There was an interesting comment made. I think Dom made it. You said there was some discussion of repurposing or using the celebration.fl.us for some other purpose. Could you illuminate that?
It was a comment that I made. There's no firm plans. We were just brainstorming. If there was some kind of use for it, that there was a legitimate use that I know Dom is kind of doing some stuff with the domain. So it was just a question.
Thank you.
Ms. Gunyon, so shall I assume then there will be nothing discussed tomorrow night at the workshop?
No, and in the email I sent out on Monday, I said it would at the earliest be on the board September workshop agenda, because we wanted this committee to have an opportunity to review your responses and discuss, and we were going to notify you when it was going to be on the tech committee agenda as well.
So Lauren, we can basically say everybody wants to keep their email. That's the summation of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So there's really not a discussion on partiality or anything. It's like, we want our email. We've had our email. Keep our email. So then it needs to go through a process to have the tech committee weigh in, have the board talk about it, have options available. We're just not there yet. You all been heard loud and clear. I've seen every email that's been written into the board, and Katie, our secretary, is amazing at responding to everything. So it is on our agenda. We understand your concerns. We understand how valuable it is to you. We're just in the preliminary stages of this. So.
And I apologize to any of the residents that thought that you weren't being notified that this was going to be on our tech committee. I normally bring up something and I don't take it off the agenda until we have a final answer. So if we have, like for instance, the Gallagher process, it's been on here for a year and change. I'm not going to take it off until I'm finished with every parts of it. So this option B, section B, I mean, which is the celebration email, was going to notify the tech committee that we're going to make readily available all the emails that were provided by the residents so that they can read it. And that was going to be all of the discussion for today. Just say, hey, here's your emails. Please look at it. Let's digest this for the next month's meeting, or in between if we have to, just to get a final answer and say, hey, we're not doing anything. We're just going to either change the provider so you're not paying $8.45 or 70 cents to down to the $2 as recommend advised before from another provider. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as you guys have your say, and your say is we want to keep it. I'm fine with that. Again, it was just me doing a house cleaning and me reading the documents. I pretty much I'd say, hey, this is supposed to be for everyone who wants it. And I was like, well, okay, I'm looking for 15,000 email addresses in the system, and I only see 22. So I'm like, okay, well, is this really being used? That's when I questioned questioned it and said, hey, do we really use this then? So now I hear yours, your feedbacks, and I'm fine with whatever the decision the tech committee comes up with, and then goes forward to the board.
All right, thank you, Tom. So in the interest of kind of maintaining time here, we like Bill said, we all hear you. The email is important. Again, there's no actions have been taken. Lauren has said that she's going to be sending your email and your responses to us for our review. Lauren has also said that she will send out another email just to solicit more feedback and give that about a week and a half for people to file some responses in. Again, we will review your responses, and again, no decisions are being made. We hear you that the email is an important service and that you would like it for it to not go away. It's loud and clear. So having said that, and knowing that there's still more communication that's going to be going on and more discussion, is there anybody here that is looking to make a comment that is not related to the email? Please raise your hand.
Well, before you get off that, I would like to say one final thing, and that's this was an amenity of the town that was provided to all residents. So if I were on the tech committee, which maybe I should get on it, I would like to have the tech committee explore offering this to all residents again at no charge, because it's an amenity, just like anything else. I don't know why it was taken away to begin with. That's
I hear you, Elizabeth. I certainly hear what your issue, your position. I think, and I don't think we have a problem with that. I think overall, providing emails to the resident, to every single email, to every single resident, there is a cost consideration involved in that. And that's a decision that the board will have to make if they're going to want to spend, I don't know, what do they got, 4,000 residents here, Bill? So 4,000 times
more than
standard
4,000 homes.
$8,000 or $6 to $8 per user. I mean, we're talking about significant costs there. So that is kind of the consideration, is we don't necessarily want to just spend money to spend money. But again, that's not essentially the committee's decision. That ultimately is kind of up to the board. So we hear your comment and loud and clear, and we will consider all positions and all potential future courses of action. So.
Okay, thank you. I would just like to suggest that that's put back in as an amenity, because we're paying for a lot of amenities that we don't use, and we don't get upset about that. It's part of the town. And every time I send an email to someone with my celebration address, it's good marketing. So there you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We will take that into consideration. Thank you. All right. So Sean, you have your hand raised.
Yep. Thank you so much. As I touched on during my introduction, I really wanted to, talk about, the security technology of the town. That is, a huge focal area for me. A little bit about me. I managed for AWS 175,000 access cameras across the globe. I'm now the VP of Security Technology for First Coast Security. One of the things that this town made a great investment in several years ago was the access cameras, as well as the Milestone backend, for wide surveillance applications across Celebration. As any investment in infrastructure goes, it's a multi-year epic. It's not a one and done. It's hey, we have chosen this direction to go with our technology stack, and that's what we're going to keep building into. And so one of my concerns is, because I've noticed, a couple one-off cameras that are, really outside of the Axis and Milestone infrastructure being introduced in different areas around the town. My concern is, are we changing direction? And if so, why? We were standardized and we had set the bar from a security standpoint, on a particular tech stack, and now it appears as though we're shifting into a different direction. Video surveillance, is just as critical as our Gallagher Access Control System. Any changes in that infrastructure is really something that should be considered, at even higher than a committee level, in my opinion, because when you change direction on your tech stack and what you do, it's more than any one of us. Ultimately, the gear and equipment that we're installing, as well as the services that undergird it, those are going to outlast, most of the people, that are, taking care of it today. It's something that the community, will live with and continue to iterate on for years to come. And so I just wanted to make that quick point, and bring that up to the group.
Thank you, Sean. So yes, we are concerned about our security infrastructure and in whether or not maintaining a consistent platform. We do work with Dom and the board to make sure that we do kind of any assessments. And if there's, and we value the investment that we've made in the Access platform. So this is certainly something that we value as the committee. This is something that we're highly interested in, and we don't make changes or judgments regarding this infrastructure lightly. So because we do see it as a valuable investment in the community, and it's the property of the community. So we completely agree with your position. To address your comment about, I guess you're seeing other cameras. I can't necessarily speak for the other organizations like CCCD. So Dominic, I don't believe we've made any major changes away from the Access platform. I know we have maybe introduced a unified camera here or there on a very limited basis. So do you have any comments on I guess the concern that we are making changes to our hardware that might address this person's comment?
Yeah, so we one of my other goals as well is your concern for your expenditures. So one of my tasks were to make sure we have good systems, cost savings, and the more bang for your buckets. Let's make it as easy as possible to understand. I've worked with Access. I've worked with all kinds, Hansa, all the different types of cameras you could think of between at the airports. I know one of the members here was the CIO at Orlando Airport. I worked at one of the hangars and handled the IT out there at one of the hangars. And we've done either Access, we've done Unify, and the cameras are as good as your back-end infrastructure and the IT team that manage it. So for me, my goal is to provide the residents and the community with good systems and cost-effective systems. Unify or Access cameras are great, but very expensive, license-driven, and it's a constant reoccurrence of costs. For me, we can get the same functionality because to go through the systems that we're using today, we would have to be some sort of a top secret security system firm. I'm being very out there in this case, or a big corporation that has many needs for a Milestone type system or a Gallagher type system. Gallagher is great. I love that system. No changes there, but we're getting cameras here that are failing. They're reached their life expectancy They need to be replaced. I've spoken with the tech committee and they agreed that as long as the cameras are NDAA, we can switch. And there are many members on the tech committee who love the Unified product. It's a simple ease of use. It provides practically almost the same services that Milestone provides, but in an easier management point of view. We, our camera management is correct. Lauren, correct me if I'm wrong. Our camera management is basically retroactive, response based, and or when we get alerts of something happening.
Yes, contractually, we are not permitted to actively monitor cameras.
All right. So thank you, Dom. So Sean, again, this is something that we are highly attuned to. We value our investment in Access and Milestone. We are not looking to make any kind of widespread changes. There may have been some limited introduction of a Unified camera here or there, but this is something that a lot of members of the committee, like I said, do value the investment that we've made in our existing hardware. So we don't make changes to this lightly, but we also at the same time are open to new alternatives, and those things have kind of been discussed in the past. But again, there's been no major movement towards or away from any particular platform. I would ask you. You said that you mentioned a specific camera. Is there a particular location? Just general. Don't give me specifically where it is, but in general, where was the camera kind of located?
Yeah, I saw a series of Unified cameras over by the tennis courts downtown. So I wasn't sure if that was one of the ones that Dom was alluding to. And I would just caution, and I'll keep this to 30 seconds or less, I promise. When it comes to access cameras, are we following the RMA process? Are we staying up to date on the firmware process? I'm an access certified technician. I'm willing to look at any down camera because in my 18 years in physical security technology, I have only had a handful of cameras go bad within their warranty period. And that also begs the question too, how many of these cameras that went down were still within their warranty period from Signature, where they were purchased from? And so I do have some concerns on that side that I definitely would like to dive into a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Sean. I will get with Dominic and see if we can do an inventory of any cameras that were potentially failing or whatever, and potentially reach out to you just to get some feedback. So we'll see. We can have a discussion further on that.
Thank you so much.
Sean, I would actually invite you to come into the office and meet with Dom and myself, and we'd be happy to discuss it with you face to face.
Cool. Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Yes, I would like to, could I just make a comment that I would appreciate it if Sean you guys could meet with Sean. This was a topic that was brought up after Dom actually had put in the Unified cameras. So I don't remember us as a committee ever agreeing that it was a good idea to put in the Unified cameras. I know I certainly never thought it was a good idea. Unify is a consumer grade. It's something that you would put in your backyard. Axis is enterprise grade equipment. It's the same as Milestone. Unify Protect and Milestone are not in the same league. Now, you don't have to believe me. I'm just, a committee member. You can meet with Sean. He can take you through all this. He just told you he manages 170,000 cameras. I think we have to go with expert opinion on this. When you compare...
Yes, Tom, I just invited him to come meet with us.
I know, I heard you, but I'm just saying that Dom said earlier that we agreed. We never agreed. At least I know I never agreed. Certainly we never voted on it. Maybe that's something we should do, but this is a symptom of a bigger problem, Lauren. And the email with things was also a symptom of that same problem. We don't really know what's happening, and you heard John comment on that, until it's an after the fact occurrence. So that's something that I'm looking to see that we change. We need to know, not necessarily approve. We're not asking for approval, but we need to know what's happening in with our assets, with our resident assets. Not be advised after that we're making a change in major direction. We make a change like this after the fact. It's at that point, quite honestly, it's a little bit too late for us to get involved and say, hey, we think that was a bad thing to do. The cameras are already installed on the poles. So this is leading to a bigger issue that you heard John just touch on briefly, is that we're really not in the loop. We really don't know what's happening. But getting back to what I just said, and I know you're going to meet with Sean, and I'm glad you're meeting with Sean. Unify versus Access, the warranties, the Access warranty is 5 years. The warranty is on Unify is 2 years. Access is 100% humidity. I could pull up a plot right now of the humidity here in Celebration. We hit 100% all the time. Unify is only 90% relative humidity. So we have cameras that are really not appropriate for this environment, but that's what we're putting in. So I'll let Sean take it from here. But I guess I would ask that you trust expert opinion and not just trust what you think you know, because I personally don't think you do in this area. So we need people like Sean to advise us.
Thank you, Tom. All right. Are there any additional comments on anything besides the security camera and the emails? All right. I'll take that as a no. All right. So we're going to officially adopt our agenda for this month's meeting. Can I get a second to adopt or the motion to adopt the agenda, please?
Second, Brecken.
Thank you. All right. All right. So the first item of the agenda is to discuss the Gallagher final phase. I guess there was an issue with photos needed to being updated for residents, and I guess mobile credentials when the cards are replaced, and I guess taking a new photo. So Dom, can you, I guess, fill us in on this item again, please?
Yeah, so our best thought is, with everyone coming in to get, whoever's getting a new card, physical or the digital, we will get all new photos, because a lot of the photos we have are old. And for us to pretty much, what we want to do is get all the new photos from everyone who's getting either a replacement or getting a new ID from digital, for the mobile credentials. Then we will work on filling in the gap with the photos that we currently have. So we currently have that resolved in the sense that our SOP is to gather all the new photos from everyone as they come in to replace their cards or buy new cards, get new cards, whichever the case may be. In every aspect we can, we'll try to get new photos. If a resident comes in and they have the time, we'll try to grab new photos so that when they do get a new card, they have a new photo to have it ready for digital spot checks. We have, as part of this, we're also looking at to do spot checks using the mobile credential reader, which is pretty much your cell phone using a specialized app from Gallagher. It works well with the cards, but not so great with the digital. Apparently it has to do with your phones. I'm working with them to understand the configs, the setups, so that we can make it work on mine. So Android to Android hasn't worked too well. Android to Apple occasionally works. So I'm trying to wonder if it's my restrictions on my phone or just something not set up correctly on my end or the client end. So once I get them to come down and sit with me to test it further, that'd be great. And again, I ask anyone from the tech committee, I guess it would be Tom, because Tom is actually our certified Gallagher person, more so than I now. My new admin is getting his training done, and I'm getting my training done as well, again, to finish it off in time before it expires. But other than that, that's it for the Gallagher photos.
All right.
So,
Thanks, Tom.
So,
do
Brad,
we
this
have-
is John. You know,
do
we
we have the-
positioned, we
I'm sorry.
positioned this a couple of years ago, and this should be moved pretty quickly now. I mean, I've been using it on my iPhone now for 6 months. It works flawlessly on the badging, getting into gates around town, works beautifully. I have people stopping me, asking me, wow, how can I get that? I have hundreds of people that want to use it. Mayberry is doing an amazing job in the pools, in the parks, tennis courts, basketball courts, volleyball court. I've been there when they check and ask for ID. And I'm sitting there playing beach volleyball 2-on-2 in shorts. And I have my phone there and I said, here's my Gallagher app. And they have no clue what it is. So, you know, all the kids now that are out there and the teenagers that are using this should be ready to go pretty soon, Don. We've been sitting on this for way too long. I don't care about photos. People have their phones. Nobody's giving their phone to somebody else to use their phone to get access into a pool or a facility, right? I mean, I agree we need the photos down the road, but this could be made live. I know there's been some arguments from the finance committee, again, making assumptions about who's going to use this. You know, we've talked about this in the last meeting. Thousands of people, I guarantee, will sign up to get a credential on their phone to use all our facilities in town instead of carrying around a card with them. So this is taking way too long, Dom. And we can't be sitting on it, testing this and testing that in every version of Android. It works flawlessly on our readers, on our doors. Maybe
No,
device
sorry,
to device.
when I said
Device to
testing,
device.
it's
Right, device to device.
it's device to device, meaning the scanners, the guys who
I know.
want to spot check you. That's
Yeah.
what's not working well. Everything else that you're saying is correct. It works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do
So,
we have
John,
the,
I'll commit to, I will get my comms department has already has a messaging plan in place on rolling this out. So I'll commit to rolling this out in the Monday Matters next Monday.
Thanks,
do we
Lauren.
have
That'd be
the cre-
awesome.
do we have the credentials?
Yes.
Finance just paid for them, I believe. They're just waiting for the vendors waiting for the check, and as soon as they receive the check, we will get the credentials.
Yeah, we
Awesome.
do not
That's
have,
great.
we do not have, I looked in there 2 days ago and there were still only 30 credentials. We had used 26.
Yeah,
And I don't know what does it take so long? Why, we actually raised this a month ago at the last meeting and said, do we have the credentials? Why
finance
is
is
it
paying for it.
7 weeks to get credentials? It's a software thing.
Right, but if finance has to pay it, they ain't gonna give it to us without paying it.
Finance has to approve the payment. You have to pay it, right?
That's pretty much correct. Yeah, finance, when
Right.
they approved it, which
So-
Bill, I'm not sure
so,
exactly what it
Lauren,
was.
Lauren, can you insert yourself? I'm so glad you're at this meeting because we can, let's get something done. Could you insert yourself and get the credentials purchased so that we can finally get past that roadblock?
Yes, Tom, I will commit because I can get a check cut within less than 24 hours. So even if I have to cut a check and hand it to them myself, I will commit to rolling out messaging on this on Monday.
All right, great, thanks.
Thank you, Lauren.
All right. Any additional comments on Gallagher and the rollout of the application and the licenses? All right, we'll move on to the next topic, which is the celebration FL.US emails. We had a very lengthy discussion with this at the beginning part of the meeting. There is, Bill, I guess this is going to be discussed at some point. Is it going to be discussed at all in the next week or two, or are we going to have time to collect all the feedback that Lauren had promised us and then allow the board time to kind of evaluate things and provide a recommendation? Is there any
There is
action?
no hurry.
Okay.
There's no hurry. We'll get the information from Lauren. I can tell you the summation of the information. The residents want their email. Period.
Yep.
End of story.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
you all have to take that, talk about it, decide, figure out, talk with Dom, There's not a burning fire causing us to move forward with this, though we should have some form of resolution in the next 2 months.
Okay. All right. We'll take that as an action item to get this closed out, evaluate the feedback, and then have some kind of path forward that keeps everyone to keep their access to the email, ideally. All right. So we'll move on to the next topic then. Server infrastructure replacement project. Dom, can you fill us in on this, please?
Well, as when I first started months ago, I discussed that our servers are very, very old and we need to update them and get them back into a version that is at least covered by warranty and not us trying to piecemeal fix it as they break. Thankfully, when Town Hall was losing its power several times, the backup power supply units did their job to protect them for a while, but they would power off and power back on, and then the backup power the backup batteries didn't have time to recharge, and they would lose power again. But lately, thankfully, Town Hall's been pretty stable. We've now moved a lot of our infrastructure out of there due to Town Hall getting ready to be reconstructed and modernized. So we've moved a lot of it to our new location here in our new offices, so we can keep them safer and easily to manage if something goes wrong with them. The only server that hasn't moved is the Gallagher box. That one I'm going to work with Gallagher, or actually ProTech, to make sure we move it properly, because the internet at Town Hall will be turned off at the end of the month as they get ready to start cleaning out and preparing for whatever work they need to start doing there. So with that, we have domain servers that are sitting on 15 to 20-year-old servers. And right now, our current domain server is sitting on a Lenovo desktop PC that I salvaged to keep our network up and running when the other server failed. So with that, I've asked if we can fix that and get updates, and we agreed that we should be doing that sometime soon. So with us moving to a new location, I figured we can talk about maybe upgrading these servers to something that will have 3 to 5 years warranty and be more modern and last us another 10 to 15 years. So this is a vendor that I've worked with for the last 30 years. They're reliable, and they are somewhat in the league of proper pricing. So I don't have to go with them, but I'm used to going with ProLiant servers. So I'm asking for the tech committee to come up with any other solutions other than what I've shown here. If they agree, great. If they don't, please advise what the better options are. So the first server you see here is a DL330, a DL380 Gen 11 server, which is going to be for the application server. That'll house Gallagher and any other application server that we currently have in virtual in a virtual service. So this one is a total of $8,000 to replace the current virtual server that we have. I didn't go out crazy with too many upgrades and too many up things. I just put in what we really need for Gallagher at this point, but we can upgrade and add hard drives as needed if we have to add more virtual machines. And since this machine is fairly new, it'll last us, well, not fairly new, it's last year's generation. It'll last us, knowing HP, it can last us 10 to 15 years again. So this is one server. Let me know if I can go down to the next.
Well, can you, when do you need to act on these?
they don't have to be acted on too quickly, but not at least not for the Gallagher server. That one can last us at least another 6 months, but I prefer to get it off that old server.
Okay.
God forbid with the movement between here and wherever else we got to move it to until we move back to town hall. I don't know if that server will ever fall apart. If you catch my meaning, it's pretty old, but I'll keep delicate care of it until we decide what to do.
Can you,
But operationally, I'm afraid to keep it running.
can you just send this out to us so that we can take a look at it? Rather than look at it right here, on the screen, just to review it and,
Oh yeah, the documentation, sure. That's
Yeah.
it was
And-
sent to you in email. You should have it in the email that was sent to you
when?
last week or this week, Monday. Sorry.
Okay, well then I have to, I mean, I check my email every day from town hall. I didn't get it, but, okay.
I'll
If it's
double check.
there- If
I'll
it's
double check. I'll
there,
make sure.
yeah, I only received one thing from you this week, which was the agenda, and then 2 weeks ago was the last time I got anything.
Right, the agenda. It's in the agenda.
Okay, all right,
It's
Okay.
page 5 of the agenda.
okay, all right. Yeah, so that we can just look at it in advance.
Yeah.
So rather than go through these now, could you just send them out to us and we'll look at them, and then we can have a discussion about the need to replace, exactly what are you replacing and why? But I mean, just looking at what you just showed us there, I mean, that looked pretty good to me, that, as a hardware person, but that it looks like a good server. I think Bill could comment, he's probably even more knowledgeable than I am, but I mean, that looks like pretty good piece of equipment there, good server.
Yeah,
But-
HP's been my go-to for years. I've never had any issues with them.
But we'd like to look at it a little bit more.
Yeah,
And then-
it's
and then-
not for decision today. It's just
Yeah,
come back with more more recommendations if you have, or different specs.
and I don't want to derail it, but you've mentioned the Gallagher server several times now, and I just want to come back to the Gallagher server. We've had now 2 occasions where the client disconnected at Artisan Park from the server. And normally that wouldn't be real bad. When I say disconnected, it was because the tunnel went down. But when it happens on a weekend, normal business just can't accept that it's a weekend, so there's nobody there, so we have to now wait till Monday. So residents are coming in every day and they're saying, hey, I got a card. That includes Saturday, that includes Sunday, and I need my card updated for Bill. And he can't do it when it goes down. Can we come up with an alternative nailed connection or something that Bill can do to establish a permanent connection between the client and the server so that we don't have to rely on this VPN credentials? Or can you set the VPN credentials such that they never expire and we don't have to wait for you to come back to work on a Monday in order to get the network back up?
Yeah, I'll look into that.
Right. I'm sure Bill can come up with something where we can have a static route or something, Bill, that we're connected permanently, no VPNing.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because what happens now is the VPN, for whatever reason, the VPN and credentials expire. When that happens, if it's a weekday, we're lucky. But it's happened twice now, but this time it happened on the weekend and we were down. We couldn't renew any cards until Monday. Now Dom fixed it right away, so all thanks to Dom, no problem. But it really shouldn't go down. This is a business. It should be up 7/24.
Okay.
That's all I'll say about the Gallagher thing.
Okay. So yeah, got some actions to take, Bill or Tom. So we'll follow up with Dominic on those. And then we will review his quotes and provide him back some feedback before the next meeting. All right, so moving on to the digital signage project.
Yeah, so we discussed this in the past, and previous committee members say, yeah, it's a good idea. I'm kind of stumped in the types of digital displays we can do. There's so many options. And I know we have rules and regulations, especially from Disney, with the marquee in the front. So the only other technology that I can think of that is safe enough, or not safe enough, sorry, not bright, where it would blind the neighbors at night because it's so bright, is the e-paper type TV or display. Since it's not my forte 100%, I know the tools we can use to make the display, but for what we want to use them for and how residents would view those displays, yeah, I think I need more help on this than trying to use my technical skills on it only.
So
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a conversation for the ARC committee as well. Disney's now using these signs on their property where they weren't before. So,
yeah. And ARC said as long as once you guys come up with what you want, then you'll fill out the forms and then they'll advise from that point forward. So that's where I was stuck. I was like, oh, we have one. It's just a 32-inch TV, simple, great. It's going to stick where the old banners are. But then when it comes to Croa, Kanoa, and then other bits and pieces, I was like, okay, wait, let me step back and see what the committee has any other ideas that might make this better and easier to do. So my thought process when it was first thought of was simply just to replace the paper displays that we currently have out there. So we wanted to put something that will function as a cost savings for the Parks Committee, the Parks and Rec team that have to change the flyers and documentations out every week or probably twice a week, I think, from different events, or different notices have to change. And they spent quite a lot of time going from amenity to amenity. So they wanted to find a new solution. And then comms committee came in and said, oh, we could do this. And then I thought, well, this could be great as an alert tool as well. So we can use it to notify residents of an emergency or something to that, where the displays can change to say, lockdown, please go to a safe place or whatnot. So with that in mind, that's like, it's gotten complicated. It's gotten not as easy as I want it to be anymore. So I need you guys for more advice and types of tools we should use.
Dom, is there a list of where the current displays, what buildings are in, or where they're located in the buildings?
And you mean the paper ones or the digital?
Well, I guess my first question would be, is the digital, which existing digital displays, do we have a list of those and where they are? And then I guess, do we have any kind of inventory of like where the paper displays are?
Lauren, I don't think we do. I mean, I'll just have to go to every amenity and just write it down.
There are no paper displays. We have a monitor next to the Jones Room at Lakeside, and it was a pilot, and that's not visible from the public street, so it wasn't necessarily an ARC requirement. So there's a couple of struggles. I know Disney is using digital signage at their locations now. That doesn't necessarily mean that they approve them for use within Celebration, because we've run up to that problem before. There are some lumen requirements that we can provide from the design guidelines in terms of lighting and exterior lighting. So I guess what we would ask from this committee, and Dom can do some additional research, is given those parameters, is there something that you could recommend that we could issue out as digital signage for all of the amenity centers, including the monument at Town Hall, that would be easily usable for the team and obviously, but be much more efficient in terms of communication with residents. We can, stream through advertisements or upcoming events or partner programs. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at.
So
Yeah.
dividing the problem into two pieces, the inside displays and outside displays,
Yes.
taking them separately. Samsung makes a variety of kiosks, you want to call them that. And these are not TVs. They look like a TV. Most people think they're a TV, or they think they're a standard monitor display like you'd have on a computer, but they're not. They have special additional memory and processing internal to them, and additional cooling, because some of these displays are rated for 24-hour use and some are rated for 16 hours. Now, I know everybody here has seen the one that we have at Artisan Park. That kiosk or that display is a special display. It is not a TV. It's a Samsung kiosk, or whatever you want to call it, a display with software built into it that's called Magic Info. Magic Info is a proprietary software package that works with Samsung smart displays like that, and it's remotely manageable over the network. Therefore, no one ever has to go to the TV and or to the monitor to update its content. You can do that across your entire network remotely from your desktop, which is I'm sure is pretty obvious to you all that that's how it would work. So Samsung equals Magic Info. CCDD came to us at one point and said, "Hey, could you guys put together a proposal how we might do this for the piece of wood that they took down that was right across the street from Market Street, what was called the Market Street Cafe, right across. That display is now gone, that wood, but it had a paper, and they were looking for something to replace that. We, the tech committee, generated a proposal for them. It was based on a complete system that was provided by Peerless. Peerless, where do we get that name? Well, I went over to Disney and I figured the best chances are to use something that they're already using, and they were using smart displays that were manufactured by a company called Peerless, and then they could accept a monitor of their own or one that was made by Samsung, either way. And of course, we were particularly fond of Samsung, and so we put that proposal, we brought it to CCDD, and of course, it never saw the light of day. But along with a lot of other proposals that we've given them, but that's the history of that. So I've gone over there maybe within the past 6 months, and it doesn't look any different. This is over at Disney, but there are many of these displays. I go to Houston every month, and they're all over the place in Houston, and they're in a big cooled box, two-sided if you'd like, for outdoors, and they're pretty darn bright. They use them during the day, and they're interactive. You can you want to see the restaurants, you can tap on restaurants. You want to see the bus schedule, you can get that. They're pretty sophisticated devices. We could do something like that, but we need to have some sort of an idea of what it is we're trying to do here. Is this just a static display that has information? Is it interactive, something that somebody could touch and get information back about? What is it that we're trying to do? And then we could help you, Dom, together come up with a proposal of how to do this.
Originally, it was supposed to be just static information or replacing the paper billboards that we have out in all the amenities, and it kind of grew. So I put it back on the back burner, and I said, like, let's figure the bits and pieces out. But because I was the only IT person for a bit again, I put it on the back burner and said, well, we'll have to wait. And now that I got John's been a godsend. He's handling a lot of the day-to-day stuff, and I'm actually now able to sit and go through all the project stuff that we talked about from months ago. So now I'm actually getting to what we discussed, like the digital signage, the dog park stuff, the server infrastructure replacement. That's all now starting to come back into play, so that I'm actually able to sit and do my job as a director and just getting paperwork done.
Yeah,
not
Don,
fixing things.
We've spoken about this for the last 2 years. I mean, I've suggested numerous times, nobody likes the idea of just putting up QR codes for celebration and just click your phone on a QR code and you can get all the information on somebody's phone, where to park, amenities, rules for the town. I mean, that was been my idea for the last 2 years. So again, I'm just gonna throw that out there again.
Why not? I mean, it's kind of like the newest thing. The only thing we worry
Right.
about now is those fake QR codes that could, so we just need to keep track of our QR codes on display. Okay.
The outdoor display as a whole, that's a tough nut to crack. That's a lot more difficult than replacing what we previously had in town hall. And, when you had 851, you had those two monitors up on the wall.
Yeah.
Doing something like that would be pretty easy. Samsung already makes off the shelf. You just buy them, you put them up. Software's already there. Very simple. I'm sure they would do the job. They can be oriented vertically. They can be horizontal. Exactly the same thing that you see when you go to McDonald's and you order from your car. Same kind of display. So those are easy ones, and there's lots of opportunity. I'm sure you can come up with something on your own. If you don't want to, you can do what we did at Artisan Park at the clubhouse. That thing runs every day, all day, 7x24. It's designed for it. It's rated to be operated 7x24. So you can go that route, and now you don't have to invent anything. But it's up to you.
Now we just need to figure out the usages.
What
Let's
you put
start
on
talking
there,
to other committees.
the content, yes, you have to decide what the content should be, what goes up there, and how often does it change and all that. But that's not a technology question.
Yeah, that's when we need to start doing our committee, joining the other committees and trying to figure out what we should do, how we should use them.
So Dominic, I think to your point, we should probably develop a list of the locations, either internal or external displays, and potentially what kind of content we might want to display at those locations. And we can kind of develop a list. And then we can, with Tom, we can research the various platforms, either Samsung or whatever. And then we can try to do some joint communication with the other committees to get their feedback on, if we use these displays in these certain locations, here's the content that we potentially can display, and how our residents can potentially interact with those signages. So
I will, I'll walk through all the buildings and try to map out, or at least a box drawing of where they are located currently, these paper billboards, so we can gauge what we need, and then we'll go from there. And I'll have that done by the end of this week or early Monday. I'll send that out to all of you.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, moving on to the dog park camera project.
So
go ahead.
As we discussed before, it was agreed that because of the Parks and Rec team have had some issues out there with dogs either fighting or some incidences where a dog got hurt, and it was very costly on the owner, and to help avoid back and forth and say, here, this is what actually happened, here you go. We couldn't do that with the current placement of our cameras. I spoke with the Access representative, and he provided the cameras that we should use. I'm scrolling over to the Excel spreadsheet. So these are the cameras that we currently have, the 3245s, and he recommended using this due to the distance, and you will need some These are AI, I think, versions, but they're like $1,300 a pop. We need to replace the current server we have right now. It's a Dell i3 server that is no longer under support, I believe. So that needs replacement. That was a guesstimate that ProTech provided. He said it's just a guesstimate. Replacement server, the software installation and bits like that. And then the licensing will need to add per camera, because I believe we're already we're at our limit. I think we have 108 camera license, and we have 108 cameras plus out there. So, and then I don't have a quote yet from ProTech to provide the costing to do all this, to create, to install the cameras, set up the configuration for the server, and get the Milestone software done. I did a comparison in the cost for Unify. As you can see, the costing is dramatically different for what we need it for. I believe Unify would be the best option for the purposes of what we use it for in case of incidences. But again, this is only just a comparison. I think if you guys decide that we should stay with Access, then we'll stay with it. But from my point of view and managing it, the system, it's a great system with all the bells and whistles it has. We just don't use all those bells and whistles. But
question,
that is just my opinion.
Sure, thank you. So we currently have 5 cameras, and are you suggesting that we add another, looks like 7 or 8 or
10?
10, okay, all right.
Yeah, to properly cover the area, it's 10, and then the 5 to either replace them, or we'll keep these until they die, and then we can replace them. That's a choice.
Gotcha.
So that's why you see the 2 different prices. Without replacing the current, it's $22,000, and that doesn't include the contractor work that is. This is one of the bids we received. I'm waiting on a second one that's coming in, hopefully by the end of Friday, and then I have another bid coming in on Monday or Tuesday of next week. They have a final walkthrough that they need to do, and again, this is just what was spec'd out when we walked with one of the tech committee members, who's also a contractor. He gave the, not his blessing, but he gave agreed with the recommendation. We can lessen the cameras if there are better options, 360 cameras or 180 cameras. Due to the placement and the amount of work, this was deemed the easiest and cost effective for contractor spend. Camera spend, you have the 3 different options, the 2 Unify ones, the stronger cameras, and then the newer generation cameras that just came out. They have zoom, and again, all this is not doesn't require licensing, so you save quite a lot on the licensing. They are a 5-year warranty for all cameras. The costing that you see there is with the 5-year warranty included, and that's pretty much it. And this is just a recommendation. I do have, I believe, a drawing of where the cameras would be placed, either Access or Unify.
Okay, yeah, and obviously since that's security concern, we don't want to publicly share that. So I guess, Dom, I'll reach out to you on that for that drawing, and then we can share that with the committee. if we need to discuss that, the mappings. Okay. I had a question, but I forgot.
Well, of course, I have a comment that, I guess it goes without saying, that I'm opposed to Unify. I've never seen the Unify 5-year warranty that you're referring to. I saw 1 year unless you buy it through them, and it's 2 years. Putting that aside, the 3267, that's a very focal length camera. It comes actually in a couple of different lenses, but each of them are, if you want to call them, zoom cameras. That price, that must be an install price, but we have an expert. So my recommendation on how to proceed with this is we have experts. We have an expert person in the community, Sean, who may be still with us, who we can turn to and say, what do you think? What do you recommend? And what's the price? This is a guy this is his business. This is his life, just like your life is managing this community. So Sean can give us a vector towards what's the right camera and what's the right price, and could probably even get it for us at that price without him making any money. So why don't we just...
Tom, I will say, as part of when we meet with Sean, if you're willing to, if you would walk the dog park with us, and we'll go over the project plan, and then we'll bring your information and the other information we have back to this committee, and the committee can make an informed decision.
There you go.
Thank you, Lauren. Yes, happy to do so.
All right. Just a question. The community if we're having incidents with dogs, are we liable for anything if we don't have
No,
proper
there's a
app camera?
liability waiver. There's a liability waiver. You use the dog park at your own risk.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna look at the project, the mappings, and then consult with Sean, and then come back to the committee with recommendations on which path we would recommend to the board. First quote. Okay. Is there anything else to add to the camera project?
Nope, not at this time from my end, but anything from you guys?
Nothing other than that this is obviously, there's a lot of vested interest, like the emails, with our cameras. So this is definitely something that we want to take some time evaluating and putting some thoughtful consideration into, because potentially this, is a scenario where we potentially migrate from a different platform to another one. So this is definitely something that we want to put a lot of thought into, and not kind of just make a rash decision. So
there won't be action without this committee making a recommendation to the board and the board making an ultimate decision.
Sure. Okay. All right. The next item was to review the draft resolution document. This has been something that we've been discussing in the last couple of meetings. I was informed that the board was going to take a workshop and potentially provide a draft of their language. I know we had created a draft that we had passed along internally. And then Bill, as far as my understanding is that I think there's going to be a special workshop tomorrow afternoon, evening, that this potentially is on the docket to be discussed. You're mute.
Sorry, it's our regular workshop. It is on the workshop to start the conversation at the board level. Yes.
Okay. Do we want to pull up the version that we had kind of passed around previously, or?
We could. I think they've seen it. I know Lauren has seen it. We've all seen it.
Yeah,
The question is, what direction? Well, first of all, this is the first time we've had Lauren on one of these calls, so we can explain where this is coming from. It all started back at the Real-Link discussion when we had the offer for the 5 cameras. That's what started this. During that conversation, Dom had told us that he had already replaced, I think at that point, 4 unified cameras, which we had absolutely no knowledge. And we were like, oh, wait a second. Well, it was too late. At that point, our board liaison, Andrew, asked Dom to produce a list of all the places that we had already replaced the cameras with unified cameras. We don't really care about replacing or doing operational items, but we do care about things that are changes in major direction of community assets. So when you talk about replacing a milestone server with something completely different, we absolutely, as residents, care about that. That is resident property. So we want to know about it in advance, not afterwards. So the purpose of this document was not, it was very simply, is to just make it mandatory that Grand Manners lets us know what they're doing when they're making a major change to our hardware or our software assets. It's not asking for us to approve it. We're not asking for that approval. We're just asking for it to be advised of it. We know what to do if we don't agree with it, right? But the first step is knowledge. And you heard John, I don't know if John is still with us, make the comment that we largely don't know what's happening in the community until it's happened. It's too late. And that's what we're seeking to change. So we want something to go to the board. Now, whether we change our resolution, now when we suggested it the last time, what you brought back to us was a reminder of what at the CJC level, what the committee purpose was. Okay. Well, if you read that resolution carefully, and I know your attorney, you'll see that we have the ability, Corolla has the ability to change the charter of a committee. And our recommendation is that we change that charter to make it required that we know what's happening when it comes to changing our IT assets. So that's the purpose of what we're trying to do. It's not a power struggle. We're not it's not a takeover. We're not asking for approval. We're just asking for knowledge. Very simple. That's why it's on the workshop agenda.
Yeah, Tom, and that's fair, and I appreciate. Yeah, Lauren, I think what you just said previously, Lauren, exactly was spot on. And I will say on our side, on the tech committee side, I mean, when I was the chair for a year, I think we had pretty much consistency. The year before, when Tom stepped down, we had some issues. We had no chair for months. And then Krista stepped down after a few months. So I think that contributes to the lack of information and transparency that Tom's talking about. But I think at least now with Breck, we're in a good place. And Lauren, you just said it 5 minutes ago. That's perfect. What you just said is perfectly all we're asking.
So can I just make, and I will make one request, that can we table this at a board level discussion for a month so I can engage with Dom a little bit more? And I know Bill's not going to be on the board workshop tomorrow because he's not going to be available to be part of this discussion and provide the committee's input on this. So I would just request that this committee be okay with tabling this for a month so we can address this from a management perspective and then come back with some probably SOPs on our part and commitments, and then see if this resolution is fully a necessary thing or if this is just something that we can address on the back end in terms of our processes to make sure that we're meeting the expectations of the committee and the community.
I'm fine with that request, Lauren. So
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'd like to hear from Bill. Bill's a board member. What do you think about it, Bill?
I think the reason, Lauren, the discussion is modifying the charter is so that it has ongoing lasting effect and doesn't get the hard won lessons aren't forgotten by the next board 5 years from now with just handling it in committee resolutions. So I believe that Jared is the one requesting it. So I'm going to reach out to Jared and see what he would like to do.
That's fair.
That's what I think.
But Lauren, I guess as a request, could we see whatever it is that you would propose that's going to change how we work together before the meeting? Like maybe could you do it in 2 weeks? You can get together with Dom and Breck and you guys come up with
yes,
something.
Tom, certainly. Yes, I would definitely try to get something out to you by the end of this week to propose changes to current operational procedures that we would have in place. So you guys have plenty of time to review it and comment on it.
Well, then tomorrow at the workshop, you could, when this comes up, it is the last item on the agenda. So I'm sure they'll be anxious to get out of there. You could say that we discussed it at the meeting today, and that I think the people that are everybody on the committee has already said they agree that we're going to defer it until for us to, if you say want to call it vote on as a tech committee, till next meeting.
Certainly, I'm happy to say that. I just wanted to bring that to this committee before it's spoken about at the board meeting.
Sure. Lauren, I'm all for pursuing what you propose. Just so that we're all covered, I'm still planning on attending tomorrow's workshop meeting, but I will, I guess when, I'll talk to Jared, and I guess when the topic comes up, I will, and Lauren, I'm assuming you might be there as well, so we can just kind of reiterate the discussion that we've had here and appeal for more time.
Yes,
I will be at the meeting just for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, I will be attending the meeting via phone for the beginning, so I will be there for part of it.
Okay. Sounds like we have a path forward where we can keep everyone happy here. So, all right. So the next item on the agenda was for the committee members to reach out to the various committees to see what the IT and tech committee could potentially do for them. So I still have not received any feedback from the committee members that, or the board members that are the committee members that I reached out to. I know Andrew was himself potentially reaching out to individuals and was soliciting the idea of utilizing the Artisan Clubhouse facility for kind of like a joint kind of brainstorming session with whoever wanted to participate. I haven't got any feedback from him as to where that stands, but I will reach out to him and to see where he's at and if he's gotten any feedback from anybody, and if we can get that on the schedule. We will try to get that planned out if people are interested. I am still continuing to reach out to the other committees for input. Dominic, I haven't checked in the last couple of days, but one of the things I had mentioned in the last month's meeting was that the names and the emails of the committee members of the other committees on the web page still doesn't appear that it was updated. I don't know if there's been any movement on that in the last couple of days. Like I said, I haven't looked.
I did tell the comms person to please make sure to get those updated. I'll chase her again. She has been pretty busy.
Didn't make sure it gets done.
Yeah, is the comms person a Grand Manners person, or is it another committee member?
Grand Manners person.
Okay, all right. I just wasn't sure who the responsibility, if it was something that you guys were maintaining or not. So,
We had
Okay.
a recent adjustment in that department that has made getting things done quicker a lot easier. So
Okay.
we should be able to get this done by the end of the week.
okay, great. All right.
And Breck, I've worked for years with the rec committee. She's no longer the committee chairperson, but Victoria Staring, who's a good friend of mine, was the chair. I sat in on numerous workshops that they had. One of my other friends now is still on a committee for the rec, and I talked to him. I've talked to Nikki, not recently, Lauren, but I've talked to Nikki many times as well. So anything up in the rec committee perspective that I can help with, let me know.
Okay. All right. So maybe we can get some movement on that, and then have a more fruitful update next month. Okay.
Yeah, I'll look into the rec committee stuff. I don't even know who the new chair is.
Yeah.
I can find out. Yeah.
All right.
It's
cool.
Catherine Fiella, John.
Okay, thanks, Lauren. Yeah, Mike Moda, who's on there, who's also, I'm sure you know him. He knows Nikki, has a great relationship with Nikki, and he's also the booster president for the high school. So we do a lot in the community together for athletic departments and sports.
Okay. All right. Thanks. So the next item on the agenda is just committee comments. Was anybody on the committee would like to have any comments or topics that potentially we need to discuss later? Going once, going twice. All right. All right. So the last item is to adjourn the meeting. So can I get a motion to adjourn this month's meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Thank you. All right. So this meeting is officially concluded. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Dom,
Thank
I
you,
guess
Brett.
you're going to
Appreciate
end
it.
the meeting recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a good night, everyone.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
everyone.
Okay, thanks.